Hey guys and gals, I got another one for you today. This one isn't going to be that exciting, but I've had the Patton for a while, and it's been buffed a couple times now, which I didn't feel like it ever needed to be buffed. Right now I think it's at an OP state. I love it. It's an awesome tank, being overpowered, but they definitely shouldn't have shaved down the cupola. If you wiggled, it was still a tough pen on this tank to hit that cupola. The vision in the gun is fantastic. Mobility is good. It's just a really good all-arounder. And when I say all-arounder, that usually means like good at everything. This thing is great at everything. It doesn't do anything bad. It doesn't really do anything average even. I guess maybe accuracy is the only downfall of this tank, but it pumps out shells that accuracy isn't even that much of a problem. And if you find something where you are unsure about hitting weak points, you can just switch to your heat shells and that shit blows right through everything. Excuse my French. It's just kind of how I feel about heat shells sometimes. They're necessary. Everyone can use them. You're not a pleb or a noob for using them. But anyways, I'll quit ranting about heat shells. Alright, so what makes this game, this game so significant is my second stripe or star in my Patton. And I'm usually not one to work towards 3 marks of excellence or anything. I have, I think, 3 tanks with 3 marks. Quite a handful with 2 marks. But to mark up tier 10s, it's a little bit more difficult. You got to play consistently. One bad game will set you back so far. Alright, but on with the battle. We're on airfield standard battle. Excuse me, got the hiccups. I hope that doesn't proceed through this whole video. Alright, so there's 5 10s on each team, then there's a lot of 9s and some 8s to round out the bottoms. Platooned up with Drewski, he's in his Leopard 1, and usually when him and I are in our tier 10 mediums, that means that heavies don't go to the choke, and then we try to hold it, and it just doesn't work too well for us. So we've kind of made an unwritten rule that we will spot the choke, maybe get a couple shots, but then we're going to abandon it if that's the case. It's either that or we just play tier 10 heavies or tank destroyers, which we don't really have the patience to play tier 10 tank destroyers consistently. This is another me showing off my texting and driving skills. And this Batchat made like a spotting run, and then Drewski's gonna spot as well. I spot the Batchat coming here, and since we don't have anyone in the south, and Drew lets me know that we actually do have heavy tanks and tank destroyers coming up to the choke, I want to make sure that the beach gets spotted out here. So this is a really aggressive line to take. I definitely could just get pumped up right here, and then Artie definitely should make me a priority, but neither happened. And now I'm just going to go up and spot this hill and see what's back here. Alright, so there is a Chieftain on the other side right there, and then there's a T-57 Heavy on the right. And I feel like if I stay up here, I am going to be priority Artie. So I'm going to stay on my side of the hill, where my tank destroyer in D2 and potentially E2 can help me out. And then I also have a medium that's not too far away from me. So if I go on top of the hill, they should have tank destroyers in the back, which will wreck me. Plus, I'm already going to be fighting a T-57 Heavy, which, if he dumps his clip and gets away, then he's going to out-DPM me. And I'm really just trying to get Artie to work for me here. Spot this E4 way in the back, and that's why I didn't want to fight up here. Because that 57 Heavy would have had me lit while I was busy shooting at him. Then that E4 would have been just cranking shells into my head or side. So I asked for help, hoping that the medium will flex over here. Keeping my front armor towards this 57 Heavy. I know he's got 4 shots, and now he just shot his 4th shell. So I know that he's pretty much just killed himself, and that's fantastic. And all of a sudden a T30 pops up out of nowhere. So I hit T57 heavy, and this T30 doesn't hit me for very much, so I know that he's got the small gun. I go for a tracking shot there, just keep him in place, and he hits me again, ammo racks me, but I run a large repair kit in all my tier 10 medium tanks, just for the case that you get hit with RD or an HE shell that breaks more than one module. You can just fix it all at once and it's back to normal. So I'm pretty much haven't taken any damage modular wise, and still have 896 hit points to play with. So we're just crushing them 8-0 here. Heavies and Tank Destroyers did a fantastic job in the choke, and they pretty much came at me one at a time, and that Bat Jack came over to help me take care of them faster, so it worked out perfect. Now I can see that E4 already slaps him, and I'm not detected here, so I can sit here and shoot at this E4 all day. Now I get a little cocky. I mean, I could see he was staring at me, waiting to see where my shot came from, and then just blind fired this position. And the E4, especially if he's shooting APCR, which I have no idea if he is or not. Back to the Prem rounds. E4 with Prem rounds, they just have a ridiculous amount of pen. They usually don't have to aim at anything. Already hits E4 once more. Once I spot him, I'll see what he's down to. He's down to 358. So I shut him down with the lower plate shot. I mean, this really showed you kind of the great things and the bad thing about the Patton. The one bad thing is the accuracy. If I was in my Leopard 1, I would have just destroyed that E4. Whereas in my Leopard, in my Patton, I can't get accurate shots in the lower plate of an E4 at that distance. Now I probably could have just slapped my heat on and punched through the front of him, but I didn't feel like that was necessary. Alright, so let's go to endgame stats. I feel like this tank is really hard to mark up now that it's OP, but honestly I don't look into those stats and stuff to see what the average damage is. You can look that up and figure out what you need to get a 3 mark of excellence. Like Quickie Baby would say, if you have never watched him, he just makes the point that mark of excellence is kind of like a mini game. If that's something you want to pursue, you definitely can do it. You can look it up. PC's a little easier because you can get a mod that just tracks your mark of excellence, whereas on here you kind of just have to figure out the average total damage that you do, and then figure out what that is to do your damage. So I got my second mark. I'm up to 85-65, and by no means is this my best game in the Patton. I've aced this, but it still is a decent tier 10 game. 3k damage, 2400 assisted, 3 tanks destroyed. I'll take that all day, every day. So I took top dog. Our FV 4005 or the shit barn did 4600, 4 kills. Drewski took third with 1400, 2 kills with 1000 assisted. And I mean, there's just a lot of assisted damage, which means that our RDs were working. If you haven't picked up the Patton, it's a heavy medium tank that just does nothing bad. It's a really good all-arounder. Alright, that's all I got for you guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.